Welcome to the Mountain West Championship game on Fox.
This is a really exciting matchup. Two of the premier programs.
This is where legends are born, the future that favors the power.
Iava delivers to the end zone. Touchdown, UNLV.
This is the moment we change it up.
And he's taken down. Boise State answering the call.
This is the way football should be played at this level, no doubt about it.
We got to play hard, we got to be relentless, and got to get the job done.
That's what emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness.
Here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, UNLV and Boise State. One of these teams lives in this championship game. UNLV, on the other hand, has never won a Mountain West championship game, and this was really out of the clear blue. Boise State was supposed to be #1 in this conference. UNLV dead last, but as of week 10, neither really looked like it would necessarily be here, certainly not together, but less than a 0.1% chance of Boise State getting in at that point. And guess what? Green 00 shows up on the roulette wheel every once and again in this wonderful town of Americana. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams, our entire crew, excited to crown a champion today. And UNLV has had one 10-win season ever.
Yes.
One.
Improbable. I mean, just use whatever adjective you want. Nobody expected him to be here, but I give a lot of credit to Barry Odom. That second time around, when a head coach fails somewhere else, right? And we see this all the time in any sport. They learn a little something from it. He was waiting for his job. He got the opportunity here. He's added structure. He's added discipline. He's changed this team, and they're ready for this moment this afternoon.
Boise State has had a lot of these moments, but this year they fired their head coach with 2 weeks left in the regular season, and they're back anyway.
Yes. An interim coach, Spencer Danielson, said, give me 2 weeks for the rest of your lives. I don't think he was even thinking about a third week, a third possibility. 6th time in 7 years. These Bronco fans, they know the path from Boise to Vegas, and you're going to hear them today. They're a veteran crew. They're physical. They're going to pound the football, and we're going to crown a champion today. I love this weekend.
What a winding road it has been for both of these teams. UNLV and Boise State for the Mountain West title. And let's first meet the UNLV Rebels.
UNLV has earned their first title shot in Vegas-like style with show-stopping plays.
Iava takes a shot. It is touchdown. Rebels.
A relentless defense.
And this is picked off.
And a willingness to go all in every game.
UNLV get the win.
It's time to be a rebel. It's time to become a champion. These are the UNLV Rebels.
Ladies and gentlemen, the UNLV Rebels. Now their opponent, the Boise State Broncos.
A resilient team, Boise State has overcome immense adversity to get here.
Boise State answering the call.
An electric offense led by the conference offensive player of the year.
Genty for the touchdown.
The Broncos have flipped the narrative. They have been here before with their eyes set on redemption. Here come the Boise State Broncos.
Those UNLV fans were not saying blue as the Broncos ran out. We'll take it a break with our Progressive Insurance Game Countdown. The Boise State Broncos set to take on the UNLV Rebels here in Las Vegas. Some stars to tell you about. If you haven't watched the Mountain West all year, one of the best running backs you may not have heard of has a birthday today, Allison Williams. His name is Ashton Genty.
Yeah, pretty good way to celebrate here, playing for a championship. And Boise State's Ashton Genty may not be a household name yet, yet, but he is one of the most dynamic running backs in college football. The sophomore was named the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. He leads the Broncos in both rushing at over 1,100 yards and in receiving with 537. Now, those numbers speak to his versatility, but they just scratch the surface of what makes him special. UNLV coaches says he reminds you of an SEC back, the type of guy you'd see at Georgia that can beat you by running through you or around you and then burn you in the open field. Broncos offensive coordinator Bush Hamdan said he's just so instinctual. He's like a quarterback with his vision. The way he sees things before they happen, to feel he has for this game. He's an absolute rock star. And guys, and talking to Genty, I can tell you, he's ready to take his act to Vegas.
He certainly looks like it, Allison. And Spencer Danielson, his interim head coach, you see the smile on his face. You talk about players coach. He has been such a galvanizing presence for this team and the emotion of this team. And a big hug over on the sideline for Coach D, as they call him. And then Barry Odom, you mentioned it off the top, Brock. He has learned so much from his Missouri days and going to Arkansas with Sam Pittman. This turnaround is what every athletic director hopes for in year one.
Yep, he's added structure, he's added discipline. Jason, having watched these guys over the years and seen them on tape, they just look different, man. They are fit, they're available. His team is remarkably healthy. I love the story he told us yesterday of, yeah, you should have seen the weight room this week. You would have no idea that it's game 13 for these boys. They're ready for this moment.
4 bowl games all time for UNLV, dating back to the 70s. And you have Boise State with 18 10-win years plus since 1996. They battle for a title this afternoon in Las Vegas. And a fair catch for Cole Wright. And here comes Boise State. Talon Green, who told us that the upheaval of last year and his season is only outdone by the upheaval of this year. He's lost an offensive coordinator last year in terms of a firing, and then Andy Avalos goes away with 2 weeks left in the regular season, and he's just stayed the course.
It was awesome in their bowl game a season ago, MVP of that offensively. You could see the numbers. You love the completion percentage to go up a little bit. But he is tall, he is athletic, and he facilitates what will be a run-heavy offense today.
His offensive coordinator, the headline for him is do simple better. To Talon Green, that's George Holani, the senior, is the tailback, and it's Green on the roll on the first play from scrimmage, and he will show the legs and get some yardage. Gain of 4 on first down. And this Boise State line, they have 2 guys on the right side of the line who are 6th-year guys. Cade Beresford is a first-team All-Mountain West Conference guy on the right side of that line. And then you heard Allison talk about Ashton Genty. This run game is the central focus.
There's no question about it. 4 6th-year seniors, 8 of them on the roster, 4 offensively. They came back to win a championship. They've been in this game a lot, but have not won this title since 19.
25 straight senior classes have won a conference title. This is a screen for Riley Smith, the tight end, and there goes the neck roll down the field inside the 40.
And there goes one of those 6th-year seniors that, you're right, is wearing that big old neck roll. Pretty easy to identify. Well, you're going to be run heavy, right? That's everything UNLV is expecting. So what do? You come out with a little naked play action. You come right back with the screen. Smith is just like many. Look at the shoulder brace as well. Kiss to the heavens. Has just super glued his body together to be available for this game.
How about the neck roll there? How about that puppy?
Sizable.
Leads the league. First down, Boise State. Genty checks in, and he crashes forward for a gain of about 3. And the whole idea for Mike Shear and his defense is to confuse you, Brock.
And they do a lot. These defensive linemen will move around. They'll go even. They'll go odd. They'll shift pre-snap. Woodard's an absolute monster. Came with Barry and much of the staff from Arkansas. First team all-conference, number 7. The leading tackler has added so much leadership to this crew. And pretty good corners on the outside. I think you're going to see most committed to stopping the run first.
Well, they're going to have to tackle those backs as Louder, the tight end, is in motion. Match protect for a deep ball down the field and some entanglement with Strawn, and a marker comes in against Quentin Moten on the coverage for UNLV. Our referee is John Noley.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, there were a few of these calls last night in this very same building. Prince Strawn, the receiver. The question you always have is, does that contact impede Strawn from catching the ball? In that case, that ball is thrown behind Strawn. I don't think he's got an ability to make a play on that. It's a tough call for UNLV, for Moten from the jump right there.
I will say, opponents have been taking deep shots on UNLV this year at a pretty high clip. Like nearly a fifth of their plays against them have been deep shots. And Taylon Green on the run straight ahead. He is eventually dumped by Moten, and it's second down. Boise State's offense, the last 3 games, the rush yards have grown and grown and grown. And again, after a win against New Mexico, they fired Andy Avalos, the head coach. Spencer Danielson has taken over, and the minuscule chance that they'd be here, this is what they've been playing for.
Yeah, 352 yards in one of those weeks against Utah State really inflated those numbers, but it shows you the commitment to the ground game.
Here it is again. This time it's Holani with a little hesitation. And what a run by George Holani. They are perfect when he runs for 100 yards. But it's been rare this year that these two guys have been healthy together, Brock.
Yeah, just in the opener, and that's about it. You can see the production over the course of his career. He is a tremendous pack. You know, we talked about the birthday boy, Genty. Same thing in high school for number 2. He had to wait his turn because he had great people ahead of him down there in Texas. Holani the same way. This has been his job, been a 1,000-yard rusher. That 1-2 punch, potent.
Now Holani on the direct snap, carrying in his left hand, and Holani, who came out of the powerhouse St. John Bosco in California, sets up second down.
Yeah, like a lot of great backs, there's just a patience. They just never, ever look frantic. And things are flying around you, they're moving, but he just cuts with fluidity. He takes his time, and this is exactly the kind of drive that Bush Hampton, Spencer Danielson were looking for.
Especially with a senior leading the charge here. He's a former freshman of the year in the conference. They have owned that award typically, and they've fed him so far. 2nd and 7. And Green will keep it himself. Green to the outside, diving for the end zone. Touchdown. Oh, Louder, what an usher for Green.
So often we see these players from the backside come across, and Louder right here with the block 85 and be in the play action game. But that time you're exactly right. He sets the table, and look at the 6'6" long jumper. Once he gets a galloping, Jason, he is a difference maker. He touches the pylon, he secures it, and they put together screens and runs and play action and QB run. Give that opponent on the other side an awful lot to think about.
Oh, they are very ready. The Broncos are. Taylon Green told us this week when we chatted with him, he said, you know what I loved most about this team this year is that we just kept swinging. And they came out with a haymaker on their first out.
And Jesus can go now. He was first team all-conference as a returner in the punt and kickoff game. I think there's a bit of conversation this week about tackling that little guy.
Return, holding, receiving team, number 17. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And this is a championship game, and it sounds like it, and it feels like it.
You know that scene in Braveheart where they just run down like crazies? That's what I think of with these kickoff guys. Like, all right, you know, don't play a whole lot, but this is my role. This is my job, and I'm going to go down with my hair on fire and send a message.
Smiles everywhere on that Broncos sideline. And Jaden Mayava, the redshirt freshman for UNLV, who took over in the Vanderbilt win, and a big win that was. His first throw is right on target for the big play threat that transferred from Michigan State, Ricky White for 23.
And this young guy can spin it. 5-time freshman of the week in the conference, a record. You see the overall 7-2, and he's just growing and growing by the experience.
This offense has a lot of different moving parts, and we'll tell you about the starting lineup for UNLV. And this go-go offense, as they call it, the right side of that offensive line has been great. Tiger Shanks, a first-team All-Mountain West Conference player out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. Ricky White, who had that catch initially and had a huge game against Michigan a couple of years ago while he was playing for the Spartans. But here are two backs right next to each other, as you'll see quite a bit today. Mayava running a modified option. He does pitch it out wide, and Vincent Davis, the transplant from Pitt, is all the way across midfield.
Yeah, they love these formations. They love the triple option that comes off of it. You can dive and give that first, kind of like a military school. Nope, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to get to the edge, and this is where he's really grown in that option game. Didn't do any of it in high school. That was not his forte, but got more and more comfortable, not just in the pocket, but leading all of the facets of this attack.
Got the freshman Jaden Thomas in, and there's a slant. That's right on the money. And it's Corey Thompson Jr. and Ricky White running together. It's a first down on White. And here is Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator. 13 stops, 14 years. But, man, is he an interesting guy and a clever play caller.
He's got some juice, man, and the kids follow his lead.
It's a run, and it is the freshman Thomas who got belted by Alexander Tubner on the third level. That safety for Boise State. And here is the defense. Hassanin is the sack leader. He has a grand total of 12 of them this year. First team guy DJ Schramm basically playing with one shoulder that's working at the linebacker spot, and then Tubner, who is their leading tackler, who had that last stop. Mayava with a pump. He's just waving him downfield. He says go, and then he whistles it out of bounds. Ricky White was closest, I guess. He was all the way past the paint.
I said to you earlier in the week about Mayava, I said, man, just watching him, he's 6'4", he's 225. He's got a lot of background in the Hawaiian Islands, came to Vegas during the COVID. But to me, there's a lot of Marcus Mariota. And sure enough, guess who he watched growing up? Marcus Mariota, just a clean delivery and throws a beautiful tight spiral.
This could be two-down territory. 3rd and 7 for UNLV. That's DeJesus in motion at 5'7", and Mayava throws to the sideline. That is Ricky White, and this has been his drive, his third catch for half a football field already.
Yeah, these two just got a special little chemistry that has grown over 1,300 yards coming in for White, and as a young quarterback you just love. And there's that spiral, man, just ripping it to the spot. The number 11 can tiptoe and move chains.
He is now the single season record holder in UNLV history for receiving yards. He's not done today, I'll tell you that much. We do have a marker coming in.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So there was a question about how many yards he had coming in. There was a correction from the Nevada game, and no matter what his total is, he has the record now. They took 10 away during the week, so he added 51 on the opening drive today.
Sandusky's like, about time. I've had this record for too long. Let me see a Reb get out there and run and make some plays. And he's done so each and every week.
After 12 years in the CFL for Jim Sandusky from UNLV. Mayava on the roll, dropped it off to a very surprised DeJesus catching that ball. Jacob DeJesus, 47 catches now this year. He's a transfer from Modesto Junior College, but you mentioned, I mean, he has been sizzling in the return game.
Yeah, 5'7", and they said favorable. That can be an advantage to a returner, man. Hard to find him, and he is lightning quick.
Got some motion from Timothy Connerly off a stiff arm. Connerly turns the corner and makes a nice little run out of that to set up 3rd down and playable for UNLV. See this 3rd down offense. They are 4th best in the nation. That is in the FBS.
That's an incredible turnaround, and give a lot of credit there to Brennan Marion. That's been a lot of different places over the last 14 years. Seen a bunch of football. Watched a lot of Steve Sarkisian as a receiver coach there a season ago. And you're that good because you got a lot of weaponry and places you can go on these downs and distances.
Including White at the bottom of your screen on 3rd down and 9. There's coverage off of him. Mayava going topside, and maybe a miscommunication. And there's a marker that comes in. It might have been some grabbing instead of Corey Thompson.
Yeah, there was a little bump, and we've seen this call now both ways. So you just want the strike zone to be consistent. An early pass interference on the Revs, and a little bump here on the back end goes against the Broncos.
Before the pass, holding, defense, number 4. After distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
And with that call, it doesn't matter if it's catchable.
That's exactly right, and here it is. Corner route by the true freshman, Thompson. And we're going to see the safety there, just that little hold, that little bump. And I would say that did impede his opportunity to go get it. And when it does, I'm sorry, Rodney Robinson, the penalty flag's coming out.
It's our first apology to a replay today. First and goal for UNLV. Davis, the tailback. Mayava flowing to the right, looking for White against McCoy, and it's incomplete.
It's going to be a one-on-one situation with the best receiver going in this conference. And I like the eyes back to the ball. When both guys grab each other, you're not going to call a penalty, especially down here. McCoy gets his eyes back to the football, the junior college transfer. One of only 2 Bronco starters out of 22, not homegrown in the program.
A couple of big dudes have come in. This is Vincent Davis. He is turned aside. He got drilled by McCoy and Tubner together.
How about the beef that did come in? But you'll see this a bunch. They may line up here, but more often than not, wherever they line up, the ball is going to go opposite. The little counter play, the big collision, and a critical red zone 3rd down.
12th play of the drive. It's a run. It's Davis. He keeps his feet for 6. That's dinner time for a left tackle.
Watch this side of the line. Watch my guy, Makaheli, my big boy left guard. 350 pounds from Alaska. Just says, out of my house. And for the 37th time, these Rebels run it into the end zone. FBS best for Davis. His 6th touchdown of the year. These Rebs know how to run it, Jay.
Oh, yeah, they do. That was, to borrow a phrase, that was Anchorage away. But somebody did. It's a long weekend already here in Vegas, and our wonderful group finishing our college football years. Boise State has it for the 2nd time. Both teams have scored, and here is Genty in motion into space with a stiff arm, and he broke a tackle from Turner and kept the feet. Boise State is top 10 in yards after contact per carry, and there it is again.
This little guy had 83 of them coming into the game. I think you can add 3 more here to the ledger. He's so low to the ground and powerful. You try to go to the legs and the near hip, run through that one, over the top, run through that one. I mean, that's 3 on 1 play. You think you have him dead to rights. You think you've taken the right angle, and like elite running backs, they bust it.
And then suddenly they have a guy like Holani, and they can really wear you down late in this game. 2 yards, 3 yards here and there, but then in the 3rd and 4th quarter, how deep can UNLV be as you take a look at our key stat comparison?
And UNLV, a tough one last weekend in this building. The only loss at home to San Jose State, and they too were able to run the ball. Athletic dual threat quarterback for San Jose State. You have that with the Broncos. And UNLV is trying. I mean, look at it. Very rarely are you going to see a deep safety. They're going to crawl an inch towards the line of scrimmage eventually. But you've got to be able to tackle in space.
Play action this time on 1st down. Green with some time, and he flares it out wide. He does have the completion to Ashton Genty as Moten took him out of bounds.
Yeah, no Eric McAllister, the leading receiver that Mike Shear earlier in the year would have had to have faced. He's the D coordinator. Looking at that wristband to signal in via wristbands. There's a good story behind that later. But he knows that Genty's not just a runner. He is now their leading receiver. He's got 5 touchdown receptions, most of them dangerous in the screen game.
That story may involve the Big Ten title game, which comes up later between Michigan and Iowa. Some motion, and it's Genty, and he dodges a couple to lean forward. And we've seen it already. Not only is he a very strong running back, but he also is one of the best pass catchers after McAllister, who's no longer with the team. He's their leading receiver.
And what you're seeing is on schedule.
What you're also seeing is a fan base that is lit up this year in red. First third down try of the game for Boise State. It's play action. He looked off Genty. He goes downfield and a wide open inside the 15 catch by Billy Bowens.
Well, you know by now this scissors concept. We've talked about it over the course of the season. Two receivers attacking that safety. One goes to the post, one goes to the corner. Just a little bit underthrown. Otherwise, Bowen's going to hit his head on the goalpost. But as it is, an explosive play coming through the air.
Got Holani back there along with Genty now. Genty's trying to run off the field. I thought for a second he was in motion, in orbit motion, but he was actually just trying to get out of Dodge. Didn't look like
they're first. I think that would have been a perfect example. A guy that has been here and been developed over 5 years. So many of these Broncos, it's just a culture, right? And Spencer talked to us about it. We're a developmental culture. We'll take those 2 and those 3 stars, and we will develop them over time. Not too different than in Iowa. Just a homegrown, built-in culture. As you see them go to the Wildcat now, in green motion to the bottom.
Yeah, this is Genty with a tough snap to collect. He does anyway and thrusts forward down to the 5-yard line.
This will happen with Mason Randolph a little bit. You'll see some of these high pitches, an inside corner. And Allison said in the opener, this guy's got the instincts of a quarterback. Sometimes those Wildcat running backs would have no chance. Eyes would be at the second level. He knew to secure it first. And save some valuable yardage.
Well, he was a quarterback. He was a wide receiver. He was an outside linebacker. He did everything in high school as it's 3rd and 3. Genty again out of the Wildcat. Here he goes into the end zone following Curran for the touchdown.
Well, we highlighted the guys on the UNLV front. Look at these fellas here. Look at them just wash down so you can get the kick and the power run game going. For so many years, so many weapons on the outside, right? Kellen Moore slinging all over the field, ripping the QBs. And Genty says, I'm not just a little back. I'm not just a pretty thing that can run. I will go right through your face and take on that contact. Boise sharp in the 2 opening drives.
It's the first time this year they've had 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives of any ball game. And Ashton Genty and his quarterback have a very special relationship. They are roommates and they are dancers. Allison?
Well, guys, Genty has played all over the field in his career. He's also really played all over the world. You see, his dad, Harry, is a retired chief petty officer in the Navy. So he grew up in Jacksonville until he was 7, moved to Virginia, and then overseas to Italy. That's where he first started playing football as a freshman. He played on the varsity team with them, with the Wildcats. And they would play away games all over Italy, in Spain, and Germany. He said it was such a special experience. All the moving he did growing up and all those unique experiences, he said it really helped shape him as a person, as a player. He said, I can connect with anyone, and I also learned to adapt to different situations and adversity. He is such a people person, and I can tell you that in the time I spent with him this week, he just has that special aura about him.
Look at those big guys, Allison. They all love him. Yeah, and when you do that and you grow up in different environments, in the country, out of the country, you have an adaptability to people and relationships. And by the way, great book, Playing for Pizza, John Grisham.
Brock Heward Book Club joins us here in Las Vegas as DeJesus on the return. That's part of the tape that he sent, by the way, Genty, to schools around the United States, was playing in Italy. I mean, that just doesn't happen all that often.
No, and that's the beauty of this game, man. That's the beauty of this weekend. So many different characters from all over the country, and he was lightly recruited. Yep. I mean, he's a prime example of a Boise kind of player. Right, played behind others, played some defense when he got to Texas, only really had 1 year to showcase his offensive skill. But I know the folks in Boise, Spencer Danielson and crew, are thrilled to have him.
And what a start for a team that looked like it was kind of dead in the water midway through the season, as there's a high pass from Mayava looking for balling guy, and it's second down.
And he knows it right there. That's a rare miss, especially to a 6'6" tight end. They love this play action, and he's usually so good at throwing on the run. Sometimes as a QB, Jason, when you're throwing to a little guy like Jacob De Jesus, you know you've got to be pinpoint. And when you see a big old 6'6" tight end, you think, well, I'll just put it out there for him. You still got to be precise.
It's Davis in motion. It's Lester back there. Here's the option, and Boise State is on it. That's Oladipo. Shea Oladipo, former 3-star recruit out of Colorado, who's developed very well.
Yeah, that time they had the right numbers. You kind of see numbers come into play for both sides. The Wildcat on the other side trying to outnumber the box. That's what the option game's all about. But not going to be fooled that time. Oladipo keeps his eyes right on the prize.
Best third down team in the Mountain West. 2 for 2 so far. 3rd and 12. Hassanin fell. Mayava throws into traffic, and that's down on the ground. Let's see what they call this. And that was Benefield and Robinson crashing in. They are going to say it looks like that was a catch and a fumble. Well, let's see. No, they are going to say incomplete. They are going to say incomplete as it redirected around.
Yeah, you said it in your call. This is a tight window, but it shows the confidence of Mayava. That's pretty darn close, to be honest with you, and real close to being an interception as well, as that ball caroms. Yeah, he never has control. But you see one-arm bandit there. DJ Schramm nearly come up with the bounce.
DJ Schramm, local slot machine. And a fair catch. Boise State will have it 14-7. It's a 48-yard punt. And here come the Broncos and what they have done this year. They opened the season 4-5. They got throttled by Washington, but a bunch of close losses in there as well. November 12th, they end up beating New Mexico, but they do fire Andy Avalos. And then they put in place Spencer Danielson. They win their last 2 games to clinch another Mountain West title game. Bert, you said it off the top. Spencer Danielson had them write down with 2 weeks on a piece of paper what they want for the next 2 weeks. He got 3 weeks out of the deal. And they have the ball again. It's another high snap, and it's play action handled well by Green, but that wasn't going anywhere in the first place. Now there's a marker coming in. Cameron Oliver on the coverage of Austin Bolt.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
And you could see the arm right here, and does that arm pull? And it does.
Yeah,
you're just impeding the receiver's opportunity. Austin Bolt's looking to the side like, come on, man. You can be physical with me, but once you impede my opportunity to go get it, you're going to get another penalty. These penalties have been damaging to the Rebels, all 4 of them.
39 yards worth already in this first quarter. Another high snap to handle, and Holani makes 3 yards out of it. Okay, so if you're a center, you're Mason Randolph. You've had a couple that are a little shaky.
Yep.
How do you fix that?
It's difficult to do, and on tape you see this at times. You know, he's one of the young guys. He's surrounded by a bunch of vets, 2 6-year guys on his right. The redshirt freshman left tackle Casey, a second-team all-conference performer, but it is not easy to do.
He did not allow a sack from his position last year. That was another high snap on the 14th run of the game for Boise State. A tall snap again, which allowed Conley to break in.
Excellent penetration on the backside. These guys are saying enough's enough. I'm not going to sit here and be a target. I'm going to slant right back into that run game and get Holani stopped before he could get started for one of the rare occasions today. No safeties deep here from UNLV. Just watch that over the course of the game with all of the run, and that's why that play action shot earlier was so open. So many people committed to the line of scrimmage.
Boise State has yet to punt. They've scored on 2 touches. They got the hammer out trying to protect another possible Mountain West title off the blue. 14-7 Boise State after 1.